Most people believe retirement becomes easier after the first day. No alarm clock, no commute, no boss, no dramatic coworkers, no work stress. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if the most dangerous period of retirement isn't 20 years later, but the very beginning? Because many retirees spend decades preparing to retire. Yet surprisingly, few spend enough time preparing for what happens immediately after retirement begins. And the decisions made during the first 5 years can have consequences that last for the next 25. In fact, 2 retirees can start with the exact same retirement savings and end up with completely different outcomes simply because of what happens during those first 5 years. Today, we're breaking down why the first 5 years of retirement are often the most important years financially, how early mistakes create long-term damage, and what successful retirees do differently to protect themselves from risks most people never see. Most retirees focus on one number: how much money they have saved. But retirement success isn't determined only by how much money you have. It's determined by how your money behaves after retirement starts. Because retirement creates one major change. Money stops flowing into retirement accounts and starts flowing out. That changes everything. During working years, paychecks arrive, contributions continue, investments grow, retirement accounts receive fresh money. But retirement reverses the direction. Now the portfolio must support the retiree. And during the first 5 years, the retirement plan is often at its most vulnerable, because this is when retirees are adjusting to new spending habits, withdrawal strategies, inflation, market conditions, healthcare changes, lifestyle decisions, and mistakes made during this adjustment period can become surprisingly expensive later. Imagine 2 retirees. Both retire with $1 million. Both withdraw the same amount. Both follow similar plans. Yet one retires into a strong market. The other retires into a weak market. 5 years later, their financial situations can look dramatically different. Why? Because timing matters, especially early in retirement. When retirees are withdrawing money while markets are declining, they may be forced to sell investments at lower prices. That creates pressure. And unlike younger investors, retirees often don't have decades of future contributions helping offset losses. This is one reason financial professionals pay close attention to the early retirement years. Because market conditions during the beginning of retirement can significantly affect long-term outcomes. The first 5 years often create the foundation that the next 20 years are built upon. Another major risk appears immediately after retirement begins. Spending. Many retirees spend years postponing things: travel, home projects, new vehicles, bucket list experiences, and retirement finally creates the freedom to do them. There's nothing wrong with enjoying retirement. In fact, that's the goal. But some retirees accidentally create a spending spike during the first few years. The problem isn't the vacation. The problem isn't the new RV. The problem isn't the home renovation. The problem is doing multiple expensive things simultaneously, because early retirement spending can permanently alter withdrawal rates. And once spending habits increase, they often become difficult to reverse. Many retirees discover that the lifestyle they created during years 1 through 5 becomes the lifestyle they expect for years 6 through 25. That makes the early years incredibly important, because spending habits become retirement habits. Many retirees enter retirement with a budget. Then inflation shows up, and suddenly the budget starts changing. Food costs rise, insurance rises, utilities rise, healthcare rises, property taxes rise, and retirees begin realizing something important. Retirement costs are not fixed. Retirement is dynamic. The first 5 years often become a reality check, because retirees discover whether their budget can adapt to changing economic conditions, and retirees who fail to adjust early may find themselves withdrawing more money than expected. Those larger withdrawals can create long-term pressure on retirement portfolios, especially when inflation and market volatility occur simultaneously. Another reason the first 5 years matter so much is healthcare. Many retirees know healthcare will cost money, but many underestimate how quickly healthcare spending can begin changing after retirement. New prescriptions, dental work, vision care, specialists, unexpected procedures, insurance adjustments. These expenses often appear gradually, and because they arrive slowly, retirees sometimes fail to recognize how much their spending has changed. If you are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. But over 5 years, those changes can become substantial. And once again, larger expenses usually mean larger withdrawals, which places more pressure on retirement savings. The retirees who navigate the first 5 years successfully tend to follow similar principles. They don't assume retirement will run perfectly. They prepare for flexibility. They monitor spending carefully. They maintain emergency reserves. They avoid making multiple major financial decisions at the same time. They periodically review withdrawal rates. And they understand something incredibly important. The first 5 years are not the time to become careless. They're the time to become intentional. Because those years establish habits. Spending habits, withdrawal habits, investment habits, planning habits, and those habits often determine how retirement unfolds for decades. Successful retirees recognize that retirement is not a finish line, it's a transition, and transitions require attention. Especially at the beginning, the first 5 years of retirement can make or break everything. Not because one mistake destroys retirement, but because early decisions create long-term consequences. Spending decisions, withdrawal decisions, healthcare decisions, investment decisions, and retirees who manage those years carefully often place themselves in a much stronger position for the decades ahead. Because retirement success isn't only about reaching retirement, it's about making sure retirement lasts. If this video helped you better understand the hidden importance of the early retirement years, like and subscribe for more retirement planning, investing, inflation, Social Security, and financial strategy content. I really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you.